Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977 is Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Once again, welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2658 of the show. It is November the 5th, 2025, 10:30 p.m. We finished watching AEW Dynamite over half an hour ago, and we did, on the last episode, we talked about what happened on WWE Evolve. Now we're going to talk about what is going on in AEW Dynamite, because of the fact there's lots of changes happening, and AEW's got yet another title to introduce, and this was an oldie but a goodie. It's a legendary title that's coming to AEW, and Tony Schiavone announced that there will be a national championship. But before he continues to elaborate, the Ops, who were not in a very good mood after what happened last week, a couple of days before Halloween, in Fright Night Dynamite, and basically Samoa Joe thinks that Tony Schiavone is involved in this, and Tony Schiavone says he had nothing to do with it, and just, and it was probably Hangman Adam Page's idea, disguising himself as the Phantom of the Opera, disguising himself as Tony Schiavone, and then they decided they were about to attack Tony Schiavone, but security and Hangman Adam Page stops the Ops. Then Eddie Kingston and Hook back him up, and then Page addresses Samoa Joe, but then Hook says, "I've had enough." And Hook goes, "How about this? If you're a man enough, put those trios titles on the line tonight." And then Samoa Joe goes, "You don't dare talk to me that way. You don't talk to me that way. Fine, they'll be on the line. We'll get it on." So that was the main event. And then there's the men's blood and guts advantage battle number 1. Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli, and this was a great matchup. Claudio Castagnoli ended up winning the match in the end. Then Renee Paquette interviewed Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis, and Mark Briscoe was there. Mark Briscoe challenged him one more time for the TNT title at AEW Full Gear. And Kyle Fletcher, said no disqualification match, anything goes. Kyle Fletcher likes the sound of that, and Don Callis, listen, this is what you want. You want to be top, but you had to give something else. If you want my career, he said, no, I like Mark Briscoe, he says. How about this? If you lose, you have to join the Don Callis family. And you have to lead the conglomeration behind. And so Mark Briscoe's like, you know what? You want this? Okay, fine, you got it. So yes, it is happening. Mark Briscoe against Kyle Fletcher, Full Gear. TNT title on the line. If Mark Briscoe wins, he's the TNT champion. But if he loses, he has to join the Don Callis family. So Kyle Fletcher not only fight to keep his title, but fight to add a new member of Don Callis family. But what will happen to the conglomeration? Orange Cassidy leads the pack. I think Willow Nightingale should be leader, but Willow Nightingale's got a little bigger fish to fry. I'll explain to that right now. So Renee Paquette does interview the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander, and then he brings out, then Don Callis goes, "Hey, listen, you think about joining us? Hey, listen, then he brings out the rest of the Don Callis family, Sans, Konosuke Takeshita. And he said, "We got your old friend because you're the Rainmaker." And then Doug Buck says, "We need some time about this." And then, because as you know, they're teaming up with Josh Alexander to join forces against Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express for $1 million. And then the Young Bucks says, "We'll think about it." And then, because Briscoe kind of goes, "We'll give you some time." So, Don Callis wants to add Mark Briscoe. He wants to add the Young Bucks. That family could be the most powerful family in professional wrestling in AEW, if not in AEW. Then the second round for the AEW Women's Tag Team title round as the Babes of Wrath, Willow Nightingale. I started like Willow Nightingale. She's cute. But then she's teamed up with a very gorgeous and sexy, funny, talented Harley Cameron. The Babes of Wrath going up against the team of Mercedes Moné and Athena. And this was a heck of a matchup. You know, Athena tried to take advantage. Billy Starks came down the ringside, and Athena says, "Go get the belt, go get the belt." And as she does so, Chris Statlander comes up and then starts attacking Mercedes Moné, and then distracting, keeping Moné out of the way. And Athena was getting caught, and Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron will advance to the semifinals in the women's tag team title tournament as they face the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. The winner will go to the finals. But we still have to get other side of the bracket to deal with. Now Tony Schiavone announces the Casino Gauntlet match. And the winner of that Casino Gauntlet match will be the first ever AEW National Championship holder. But there were two gentlemen that signed up for that Gauntlet match. It would be none other than the Hurt Syndicate's Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. As they talk about interesting, and MVP wanted to make sure that Tony Schiavone's real and not fake. You can't be too safe around there. And he says, we'll do what's best for business when it comes to these two who fight each other. But then the demand came out, and they say, hey, we'll make sure you guys never wear titles again, and I'll see to it at that. So I'm sure that all three of those gentlemen, or it could be Ricochet, entering the National Championship Casino Gauntlet matchup. And I wrote, so he called viewers and the fans morons. So I said, well, once the Hurt Syndicate gets done with Total Leona, Bishop Khan, and Ricochet, they said they should rename themselves the Three Stooges. And Ricochet liked the tweet, which I think is hilarious. I think he knows I understood the assignment and had a lot of fun with him. So, you know, he knows I'm having fun with him and all that. He probably says, hey, this guy knows the assignment. Anyways, so there's that. And the Jurassic Express suggests the Young Bucks, hey, you know what? We know you're down in the dumps. Here's another 100, and then he puts the knife in it. And Luchasaurus was tempted, and he goes, leave it. Hope you didn't spend all that money in one place there, Luchasaurus. Anyways, then they get the Blood and Guts matchup part 2. And match number 2. Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. Excuse me. Been like this all day. I was feeling fine. Anyways, after the match between these two gentlemen, and Darby Allin finished off Daniel Garcia with the sharpshooters. Even Death Riders are trying to get that mojo back. Claudio Castagnoli won the first matchup. And then after this matchup, Pac attacked Allin before, after the match, and then Orange Cassidy comes in, and then Will Yura attacks Orange Cassidy. Roderick Strong, Claudio Castagnoli get involved, and then Moxley attacks Kyle O'Reilly, and then they were about to hurt O'Reilly until Roderick Strong comes flying in and chasing everybody away. Now, FTR addresses the Houston crowd about getting their shot at the tag team titles at Full Gear. And they call out Brodito, but Brodito wasn't. Their music was playing, and their Titantron was playing, but they were not showing up. But then Renee Paquette sees Stokely Hathaway in front of Brodito's locker room, and they're banging away, and it's just like, and Stokely does not care, right? Oh yeah, let's see how much a big man he is. So, anyways, they saw Bandito's family at ringside. I think his sister, his sister, and you got the grandma, and you got his brother Gravity. And so they said, this is the first time seeing his son and everything else, but he'd like to be your adopted grandson, so he'd give us a kiss, right? And then Gravity's about had enough, so he starts fighting off FTR. But then, you hear more banging at the door, and then Stokely Hathaway was sitting there, and also this big, humongous hand came out and grabbed him. Ah! It was the funniest thing ever. See, Stokely Hathaway, you know what? Give me a second here, folks. This was the funniest thing I've ever seen, and let's see if we can play it. Here we go. See, that was hilarious. That was a funny thing. That was hilarious. I thought that was funny, and that's what happened. And then Brodito came out finally and chased off FTR, which is hilarious. And then the next matchup, the first women's Blood and Guts Advantage matchup. Now, here's the situation about the women's Blood and Guts matchup. As you know, Penelope Ford is injured. Can't compete, injuring her shoulder, and replacing her, not only in the women's Blood and Guts match, but in the women's tag team title tournament, is Marina Shafir. She'll be joining up forces with Megan Bayne, and they're going to be facing Ty in the tournament. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, as you know, Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, the Timeless Love Bombs, will be taking on Alice Windsor and Riho. But here's the thing: Queen Amanado is supposed to be taking part in this matchup, but because she had an injury, she's medically eliminated from the matchup. But in her place will be Mina Shirakawa. Three of my favorite ladies on one team: Mina Shirakawa, Timeless Toni Storm, and Harley Cameron. I'm a happy clam about that. But then, so Timeless Toni Storm joins on commentary and telling Excalibur to shut up, which is hilarious. I love Timeless Toni Storm. And as the women's Blood and Guts Advantage match won, as you know, the third matchup, if it was necessary, Harley Cameron will take on Tekla and Collision. And then this matchup was great until Mina Shirakawa was holding her own against the big girl, the big woman in Bayne, until Marina Shafir decided to attack Toni Storm during the matchup, and Mina was distracted, and Megan Bayne took advantage with a running powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Bayne wins the match. And then Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne were about to attack Mina Shirakawa until Toni Storm came back with a chair, chasing them all away. Then the Triangle of Madness starts attacking Mina and Toni, and here comes the rest of the women's team. Here comes Jamie Hayter. Here comes the Babes of Wrath. Here comes, Mercedes Moné was trying to help out, but then she stopped. But then Statlander came back out and started attacking Mercedes Moné, and then that team, Timeless Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander stood tall in the end of that brawl. Can't wait till next week. And then the trios title is on the line for the main event: the Ops versus Hangman Adam Page, Hook, and Eddie Kingston. And heck of a matchup. The Ops end up winning that matchup. So that is all the time there is on today's episode. I'm going to upload these videos before I get some sleep, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, tomorrow we got Pressure Luck, and since we still have internet until things happen, we have Pressure Luck, and then we got the Rant and Rave podcast and some TNA Open Fight Night tomorrow night. Look forward to see what that's all about. So, I'll see y'all later. You guys have a wonderful, blessed rest of your night. Until next episode, come fooling around. Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raven Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.